on the board. Again, looking not as confident as we'd expect after that game victory. He starts. It is 1d4, the queen's pawn. Magnus taking a pause, now thinking how he wants to approach this. David, you know Magnus best. How is he? How does he react mentally after a loss like that?
Normally, Magnus gets woken up. We heard about the beast inside Wesley. Magnus really bounces back better than anyone else, I think, in chess history from a defeat. That being said, he is facing Wesley now, a woken Wesley, and Magnus has the black pieces. We see the NIMZO Indian defense, one of the most solid classical openings in chess, and Wesley choosing a branch where he gets the bishop pair early on, so he has something to hold on to long term. It's definitely pressure on Magnus to equalize. Magnus here, he's set up in the most solid way possible, and we'll see how that unfolds.
I'm wondering if he'll strike with c5, because if Magnus is feeling ambitious, he can get into some of these tactical positions where there's deep theory, and I think you don't see this at the highest level very often. But after a loss like that for Magnus Carlsen, why should he take unnecessary risk? If he draws this game, he heads into the fourth game with the white pieces, the first move advantage, and he instead brings knight into e4, and only then plays c5. So these lines, they're well studied, and Wesley, he got his hand on his jaw a little bit. How ambitious will he be? That's my question, because we've learned that he's not even happy with his play after beating Magnus Carlsen.
He's got reasons to be happy about the result of that game, but he also mentioned in the interview that he would be okay taking this to the Armageddon. Now, that was his strategy for set 1 as well, and it didn't work well. This approach of the opening, we see moves are being blitzed out. We're still in opening territory, a big threat on f2, now stopped by Wesley, so pieces are being traded. David, what do you think? Is this a game where Wesley's sticking, said in the interview, or will he try for an edge with white?
Feels like he's trying to be super solid here. This variation, this branch of the NIMZO Indian has a notorious drawish tendency. White has a small symbolic advantage because White's bishop is better than the black bishop. White's knight has more potential than the black knight. Ultimately, though, it is a symmetrical pawn structure, and nothing too drastic can go wrong here for black. So, yeah, looks like both players just happy to play solid, mirroring each other's posture here, the body language. Just neither looking too energetic, but I would take white every day. I think Wesley, he's just trying to take the sting out of the position, and he's hoping that Magnus is a bit flustered from that last game. That being said, no deep dark forest here.
And Magnus avoided the only opening trap that I know of in this position, so if we can analyze and take it back a few moves, there's one little thing that Magnus needs to avoid, and it's why we encourage people to get their king safe and castle. And right now, simple moves are playing, putting a rook on an open line. And now for Magnus, he doesn't have any concerns. There are no tactics available to Wesley, but if we can
Wesley thinking about his game 4 strategy?
Potentially. He's at least trying to conserve energy. I think he's just looking into the future and maybe even wondering about the Armageddon if he gets that far. This one, yeah, there's 0 life. Look at White. Everything on dark squares. He's playing checkers. And unfortunately for Magnus Carlsen right now, this is a deadlock. Just no way to break the barrier. But yeah, he must be planning ahead now, Wesley. So he's still got plenty of time on the clock. 5 minutes is just more than enough right now.
And when we talk about trying to break a barrier, we're looking at pawn breaks from black here. And there are 2 that come to mind, right? Like the A pawn can move forward 2 steps to A5, or the G pawn can move forward to G5. Break that down for us. How should Wesley react to make sure that black's king doesn't get more activity if a break was to arrive?
Yeah, I think just ignore everything. Just leave everything. Don't touch it. Sorry that I was just playing around trying to figure out if there was anything at all black could try, but the answer is no. I don't know if Magnus will even try to test. Just keep the white king, just move back and forth, back and forth. You'll never get Zugzwang because I think black will be able to create enough threats.
It's a fortress. Magnus will believe in it if he doesn't already, because there is nothing he can do. And that black king may go on over to the F5 square and then try to go into the G4, like you go there, and you're going down toward the pawns, and the white king just steps back and defends them. So the control of the dark squares is completely in Wesley's favor, and he's shuffling back and forth. Magnus very much doing the same. I don't see any inroads, and I believe both players, they'd be well served with a draw for in the near future.
Every day they're shuffling. Black king's going to shuffle as well. Not much to do though. White's king will always block out, shoulder off its counterpart. The black king can come 1 square forward, but no further. And yeah, Wesley doing the right thing. Once the black king is distracted on the other flank.
And a way to repeat.
Yeah, there we go. It's a draw, a handshake. And very level this one.
Very peaceful draw, this one. From start to finish, the players just calming down after the chaos of game 2. Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces holds the draw. Wesley from the start never really got an edge. He pushed a little with some ideas, but never anything to worry about for black.
Hyper-accurate chess. That's what's on display here in the Champions Chess Tour Finals title match. Magnus